Welcome back to What Joshua Does TV, and here we have again my 2000 Volkswagen Beetle 1.8 Turbo. It's not much, but it's something, and we've done some recent work on it. We installed a spoiler, new tail lights, new headlights, and 20% tints all around. We also painted the rims and tried to take care as much as we can about it. It has new water pump, new timing belt, and it's so far been running good. But recently found out that the turbo was blown. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna install the new turbo that just came in, and we're gonna get the bug running just like if it was brand new. All right, here we have it. It is the K04001 turbo. Let's get this open. Okay, so first thing, we got the MX Speed Racing rods. Focus on performance, just the information about it. Customer service card opens up, some information thanking us for our purchase. Right. And we got the, I believe this is exhaust side of the gasket. Not sure what this is for. I know we have the oil and coolant gasket. There's two of them here, I think. One here. So we'll figure that out at the end when we're installing. So. Ooh. Let's take all this foam out. What's this? Foam. Very well packaged. Very well secured. So I can take it out. There we go. Damn. Let me get out the plastic and we'll do another walk around. Alright, so here it is, the K04001. And here's the inlet turbine. That's perfect. That is pretty cool. And there is no play, so it is perfect. So it fits in the car like that. So coming up from the top, we have the inlet pipe. Goes into here. We have the charge pipe goes there. And here are the lines. I'm not sure which is which. We got, I think one is oil. I think this is oil, this is coolant. And then right there and on the bottom too. So there's one problem with the turbo, and it's not really much of a problem. It didn't come with new studs. And I know that on my car, there's only 3 studs holding the turbo, and they put like a gasket and a maker or something, and they stuck it on. So it's missing a stud on the old one. So, and I am getting turbo studs that fit and self-locking nuts. I already started dismantling the top. I took off that drain shield, dust shield on top. It's gonna give me better direct access to the turbo. I gotta remove the charge pipe, the inlet pipe. All right. So I'm gonna give you guys a little clearer understanding for the Beetle. Here's the turbo. There's the inlet tube, right? And there's the wastegate. Here's the exhaust pipe. Right, I notice I'm missing a bolt, which I have extra. And then you got 4. You got 1, 2, 3, and that one, right? But then you have the oil return line. But since this is in the way, I forgot what's called, the axle's in the way. Instead of removing it from the bottom of that, we're gonna remove it from the oil pan after we drain the oil. And then we're going to clean out this tube and let it dry. So make sure that it is clear of any debris. And then you also have right here, right above the oil line, you go up a little bit to the left, right there, Allen bolts, that's the bracket holding the turbo on from the bottom. And then you also have it holding onto the top, onto the exhaust manifold. So right now I'm gonna get the inlet tube out, and then I am going to start dismantling the bracket, and then this, and then I'm gonna drain the oil, and I'm gonna start on the exhaust manifold. So by the time I'm done taking that out, I can remove the lines on top for oil. You can see actually one right there, that silver plug right above that rusted hole. Right there above that, that's one of the lines, and behind that is another line. So we're gonna get those out, but we need the exhaust manifold, which is in the way. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Old turbo out. There's the turbine, completely destroyed. Jeez. See the play. Actually, not that much play. A little bit in and out. But that's definitely really bad. That carbon buildup on the inside. Here's the wastegate. There's the new one. And the old one. I'll say slightly bigger. Slightly. Turbines seem to be a different pattern. So I'm gonna swap everything over and I'm gonna get this in. Alright guys, I got the threads on, but I was having difficulties with the length of them. I couldn't get it past that bottom hole for the exhaust. So I am using a saw and I am cutting them to match the length of the old ones because it came out pretty low on that one. So I'm cutting them to match and we're gonna see what fits. Alright guys, that done it. Cutting them was the way to go, and I still have enough meat on the threads to tighten them up with the bolts. And then now we just gotta get this manifold, exhaust manifold on. I know some bolts are missing because they came off with the bolts, so the bolts were stuck on there. The actual studs came out with it, so I'm just gonna put it on the way it is, like that. And I got a new gasket, so I'm just gonna get a rag with some brake fluid cleaner. I'm just gonna wipe around that area before I put on the manifold. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten up that the exhaust side. I kind of figured it out. The car started, but there was lots of smoke coming from here, and it was really loud. So I think because the gaskets were leaking, or maybe it wasn't tight enough. So I bought this like copper ultra maker, gasket maker, high temperature, maximum temperature gasket maker. That says it's good for this application. So I put some around the turbo, going to the pipe, and then I put here on the turbo going from the exhaust manifold. And there is, I took off the exhaust manifold. The problem was I didn't tighten up those bolts on the bottom. I had to loosen this so it can drop down because this rod was in the way and that was in the way. So I'm gonna do that gasket thing also on that piece before I put it on, because the gasket is already on there. But I think I was having trouble on one of those spots on that corner that where is it, right there, that the bolt wasn't going into. It was one of those two. So I'm gonna just put the gasket stuff on that before I stick it on, and then just start placing the bolts on, just to put them on and then tighten them on after. And then I have to go under the car. I have to put more of that stuff underneath it And then I need to get this thing back in. It wasn't really fitting well, so I'm just gonna try to like put something here just to stretch it out, leave it in the sun so it can heat up and stretch a little bit so it fit over the turbo. All right, so that issue with that exhaust leak was that the exhaust was not matching up with the turbo because it was warped. So those 3 dots, that's the bottom side of it, they wouldn't match going into the turbo. So I had no choice but to order a new manifold, and I checked it out and they do match the holes. I already kind of bolted some of the bolts on. So here's the turbo right there. And it was kind of hard to see. Once I line up, move the turbo up, it lines up perfectly. So I'm gonna get started and start bolting up the bottom bolts for the manifold, and I'm gonna get the turbo on, and then I'm gonna do some of the top ones, and then we're gonna turn it on. We're gonna see how it is. Hopefully that solves our problem. All right, guys, I had to take out the new one again. Unfortunately, the new bolts, it didn't fit into this one because there wasn't enough room. So I had to put it out. Since I had it out, I decided to change the studs, put on the studs where it was missing it, because they were all coming out like this. They're seized together. All right, so as you can see, I put it back with the new studs, except for one that was broken, I couldn't take out, but I put where I needed studs, I put studs. And you can see I put the bolt in before I slid it in the manifold, because as you can see, there's no way to get it in while the manifold is there. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start putting on the bolts, tighten it up to spec, and then attempt to attach the turbo, which I do have to lift up a little bit, and at least get one bolt in, and the rest should follow with it. And I finally got all 3 bolts lined up, and now I'm just tightening it, and then we're gonna torque it, and then we're gonna put all the pipes together and start the car and see how it sounds. All right, I got everything back in. We're gonna do the first start, pray that it works. We're just gonna pump, fuel pump. 1, 2, and listen. It worked. It's quiet. A lot of smoke though. It's been sitting for a while. Just gonna let that cycle out. Turbo, you can definitely hear that new turbo.